You know what's crazy? The most dangerous person in your life might not be the one screaming at you. It's the one who knows exactly when to go completely silent. And right now, as you're watching this, millions of people are experiencing one of the most devastating forms of emotional manipulation. And the worst part? Most of them don't even have a name for what's happening to them. Before we dive in, if you've ever felt that cold, gut-wrenching feeling when someone just stops talking to you, hit that like button right now. Because what I'm about to share is going to completely change how you see silence in relationships. By the end of this video, you'll understand something about yourself you never realized before. Whether you've been on the receiving end of weaponized silence, or maybe, just maybe, you've used it yourself without understanding what you were really doing. Here's what I need you to know. There's something at the end of this video about what this kind of silence does to your brain, to your relationships, to who you become. And honestly, it's going to shake you. Let me ask you something real. When's the last time someone you cared about just stopped responding? Not because they were busy, not because they didn't see your message, but because they chose silence. They made a deliberate decision to let you sit in that uncomfortable void, wondering what you did wrong, checking your phone every 5 minutes, that knot in your stomach getting tighter with each hour. You know that feeling, right? That strange sensation when you're trying to act normal, but inside you're freaking out? Yeah, that's not just in your head. Something very real is happening to your body and brain in those moments. And we need to talk about it. So here's what's really going on. Picture this. Someone you care about suddenly goes cold. No explanation, no fight, just silence. And you're sitting there feeling confused, anxious, and here's the worst part. You start questioning your own reality. You wonder, am I crazy? Did I imagine things? Am I overreacting? Should I reach out again, even though they ignored my last 3 messages? You find yourself composing and deleting texts at 2 a.m. Your brain won't shut up about it. Now here's what's wild. While everyone's being told to communicate more, to be vulnerable, to express feelings, there's this whole other group doing the complete opposite. They've figured out that sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. And look, I've been working with people for years, and I've seen this behavior generate completely opposite reactions. Some people see someone using silence and they're like, that's manipulation, that's toxic, that's abuse. Others look at the same thing and go, no, that's boundaries, that's self-care, that's protecting your peace. But you know what? It's way more complicated than that. Here's the real reason this happens. First, nobody ever taught us the difference between healthy silence and weaponized silence. Think about it. Did anyone ever sit you down and explain that there's a massive difference between I need space to process my emotions and I'm punishing you by disappearing? Second, we live in a world where we have 24/7 access to each other through phones, but also the ability to be completely absent while being present. This is the first generation dealing with read receipts, last seen timestamps, and the torture of being left on read. Third, and this is huge, silence is a learned behavior. Most people who weaponize silence learned it from somewhere. Maybe they watched their parents give each other the cold shoulder for days. Maybe they discovered early on that withdrawing got them what they wanted. Maybe they're terrified of conflict, and freezing is their only coping mechanism. Fourth, our brains are wired for connection. When someone important to us goes silent, it triggers our deepest, most primal fear, abandonment. And that fear makes us do irrational things, chase harder, apologize for things we didn't do. Accept treatment we'd never tolerate otherwise. But here's what really worries me. Most people using silence as a weapon don't even realize they're doing it. and most people suffering from it don't realize there's a pattern they can break. That's what we're going to unpack right now. All right, let's talk about what's actually happening in your brain when someone gives you the silent treatment. Because this isn't just hurt feelings. This is pure neuroscience. The dopamine trap. When someone important to you suddenly goes silent, your brain does this twisted thing with dopamine. Dopamine is that feel-good chemical that lights up when you eat amazing food, when you have sex, when you get a notification. But here's the catch. Dopamine also floods your system when you're waiting for something good. That's why you can't stop checking your phone. Every time you look, your brain releases a little hit of dopamine, hoping this time they responded. It's identical to the mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. Same brain chemistry. Your brain literally can't tell the difference between waiting for a text and waiting to win money. The survival response. But it gets darker. Humans evolved in tribes. For thousands of years, if your tribe rejected you, you died. Literally died. You couldn't hunt alone, couldn't protect yourself, couldn't survive. So our brains developed this intense, primal fear of social rejection. When someone goes silent on you today, your brain doesn't care that you're safe in your apartment. Your amygdala, that ancient alarm system, is screaming danger, rejection, expulsion from the tribe. And your entire nervous system responds like your life is at risk. The cortisol overload. Your body starts pumping out cortisol, the stress hormone. And we're not talking mild stress. Research shows that people experiencing the silent treatment have cortisol levels equivalent to people in actual physical danger. Your body thinks you're being chased by a predator. Your heart races. Your digestion shuts down. Your immune system weakens. You can't sleep. All because someone won't text you back. The 3 types of silent people. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There are 3 distinct types of people who use silence. Type 1, the healthy regulators. These people have learned emotional regulation. When they need space, they communicate it. Hey, I need time to think. I'll reach out tomorrow. Their silence isn't punishment, it's self-care. They're not controlling your emotions, they're managing their own. Type 2, the frozen ones. These people go silent because they're terrified. Scared of conflict, scared of saying the wrong thing, scared of their own feelings. Their silence looks like manipulation from outside, but inside they're just frozen in fear. They never learned how to handle conflict, so they shut down. Type 3, the manipulators. These people know exactly what they're doing. They've discovered that nothing makes someone more desperate, more willing to apologize, more willing to beg than complete withdrawal. They understand the psychological impact and use it deliberately. The problem? From the outside, all 3 look identical. Same behavior, completely different intentions. And that's what makes this so confusing and devastating. Let me tell you about 3 patients I've worked with, because their stories might sound familiar. Story 1. Sarah, the one being silenced. Sarah came to me completely broken. She's this incredibly successful marketing executive, confident in every area of life except her relationship. Her partner would go silent for days whenever they disagreed. Not just avoiding the topic, full shutdown. Wouldn't respond to texts, would be physically present but emotionally gone, would look right through her like she didn't exist. She told me, I feel like I'm losing my mind. I can't eat, can't focus at work. I spend hours analyzing every conversation, trying to figure out what I did wrong. We worked together for months. And then one day, she had this breakthrough. She said, "Oh my God, I've been living my entire relationship in fear. I'm constantly monitoring his mood, walking on eggshells, making myself smaller, all to avoid the silence. I've abandoned myself to keep him comfortable." She realized the silence had trained her like a dog. Good behavior equals connection. Any mistake equals painful withdrawal. She'd lost herself completely trying to prevent his disappearance. The ending? She set a boundary. She told him, "I love you, but I can't do this anymore. Either we learn to communicate healthily, or I'm choosing myself." He refused to change. She left. And 6 months later, she told me, "I didn't know life could feel this peaceful. I didn't know I could breathe without anxiety." Story 2. Marcus, the silent one who didn't know. Marcus was referred to me by his wife. She'd given him an ultimatum, therapy or divorce. He came in genuinely confused. "I don't get it," he said. "When we fight, I need space. I don't want to say something I'll regret." I thought I was being mature. But as we dug deeper, something uncomfortable emerged. I asked him, "When you go silent, what happens?" He thought about it. "Well, she panics. She texts me, tries to fix things, apologizes even when it wasn't her fault. And how does that make you feel?" Long pause. Then quietly. Powerful. Like I matter. Like she needs me. That was the breakthrough. His silence wasn't about self-control. It was about control, period. He'd grown up feeling powerless in his family, and he'd unconsciously learned that withdrawing gave him power in relationships. The realization devastated him. "I don't want to be that person," he said. We worked on it. He learned to communicate his need for space. "I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need an hour to calm down. Then let's talk." It was hard work, unlearning years of patterns. But 9 months later, his wife came to a session with him. She was crying, but smiling. We just had our first real fight, where he stayed present. He took breaks, but he came back. He didn't disappear. I can't believe this is possible. Story 3. Jennifer, the frozen one. Jennifer was the opposite. Super articulate, brilliant writer, but in conflict, total shutdown. She'd ghost friends over minor disagreements. She'd go silent on her boyfriend for days, then feel horrible about it but couldn't stop. "I don't know what happens," she told me. "One minute we're arguing. The next minute I feel this wave of panic and I just freeze. My brain goes blank. I can't speak. And then I run. And I know it's hurting people, but I can't stop." We traced it back. Her parents had explosive fights when she was little. Screaming, throwing things, terrifying. Little Jennifer learned that conflict equals danger. Her nervous system developed a freeze response. As an adult, any conflict triggered that same panic, that same freeze. We worked on it through somatic therapy, teaching her nervous system that conflict today isn't the same as danger in childhood. Teaching her to stay present even when uncomfortable. Giving her phrases to use. "I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need to pause this conversation, but I promise I'll come back in 30 minutes. It took time, but she learned. And she told me, for the first time in my life, I don't have to run. I can stay. Even when it's hard. What these stories teach us. 3 people, 3 completely different reasons for the same behavior. Sarah needed to leave to save herself. Marcus needed to unlearn manipulation and build real communication skills. Jennifer needed to heal childhood trauma and retrain her nervous system. Same behavior, completely different solutions. And that's why understanding the why behind silence is so crucial. Okay, now let's get personal. Let's figure out if this pattern is happening in your life and what role you're playing in it. If you're the one being silenced, ask yourself. 1. The frequency check. How often does this person go silent on you? Once a month? Weekly? Multiple times a week? If it's a regular pattern, that's a red flag. 2. The duration test. When they go silent, how long does it last? A few hours? Days? Weeks? Healthy space is measured in hours. Weaponized silence is measured in days or longer. 3. The explanation check. After the silence ends, do they acknowledge it? Do they explain what happened? Or do they just act like nothing occurred and you're supposed to forget about it? 4. The anxiety meter. On a scale of 1 to 10, how anxious do you feel during the silence? If you're above a 7, if you can't function normally, if you're obsessing constantly, that's not healthy space. That's psychological warfare. 5. The pattern recognition. Look back at your relationship. Has the silence gotten better or worse over time? If you've asked them to change and nothing's improved, you have your answer. 6. The energy audit. What percentage of your mental and emotional energy goes to managing this person's silence? If it's more than 20%, they're taking up too much space in your head. 7. The self-loss check. Complete this sentence. Since being in this relationship, I've stopped. If you've lost hobbies, friends, parts of yourself to avoid triggering their silence, you're in trouble. 8. The comparison test. Think about your other relationships. Do you feel this anxious with other people? If not, the problem isn't you. It's this specific dynamic. If you're the silent one, ask yourself. 1. The intention test. When you go silent, honestly ask, am I taking space to calm down, or am I trying to make them suffer? Your first instinct will tell you the truth. 2. The communication check. Do you tell people you need space, or do you just disappear? If you're not communicating your need for space, that's a problem. 3. The power question. Be brutally honest. Do you feel powerful when they're chasing you? When they're panicking and apologizing? If yes, you're weaponizing silence. 4. The origin story. Where did you learn this behavior? From parents? From past relationships? Understanding the origin helps you decide if you want to keep it. 5. The guilt meter. After you go silent, do you feel guilty? If you feel guilty but keep doing it anyway, you know it's wrong, but you're choosing it. 6. The impact recognition. Has anyone ever told you your silence hurts them? Have multiple people said this? If so, listen to them. 7. The alternative test. Could you communicate what you need with words instead of silence? If the answer is yes, but you still choose silence, ask yourself why. 8. The relationship quality. Are your relationships deep and secure, or are they full of drama and people walking on eggshells? Silence as a weapon creates shallow, anxious relationships. The middle ground, ask yourself. Maybe you're both doing it. Maybe it's a cycle where one person's silence triggers the other person's silence. Ask. 1. Who typically goes silent first? 2. How does the other person respond? 3. Does anyone ever break the cycle by communicating clearly? 4. What would happen if you both committed to never using silence as punishment? The reality check exercise. Get a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, left side, write facts about the silence. How often it happens. How long it lasts. What triggers it. Right side, write stories I tell myself about the silence. They hate me. I did something terrible. They're going to leave. Look at the difference. The left side is reality. The right side is your anxiety creating narratives. Separate the two. The deal breaker question. If this pattern never changed, if this is how your relationship would be forever, would you stay? If the answer is no, you have information. Time to either set serious boundaries or walk away. If the answer is yes, ask yourself, am I okay with this because it's actually manageable, or because I've been conditioned to accept crumbs? Be honest with yourself, because that honesty is the first step to change. All right, now let's get into the actual solutions. Real, practical, actionable steps you can take starting today. Solution 1. The 24-hour communication rule. Make this your relationship law. If you need space, You have 24 hours to communicate that. Not 24 hours of silence, but 24 hours to tell the other person you need space. It sounds like, hey, I'm overwhelmed right now. I need some time to think. I'm not ignoring you. I just need to process. Can we talk tomorrow at 7 p.m.? See the difference? You're still taking space, but you're not disappearing. If you're being silenced, set this boundary. I respect your need for space, but I need you to communicate that. One text saying, I need time, I'll reach out in X hours is all I need. If you can't do that, I'll assume we're done. Solution 2, the anxiety pause technique. When panic hits because someone's not responding. Step 1, put phone in another room. Physical distance. Step 2, set timer for 20 minutes. Step 3, ground yourself. 5 things you see, 4 you can touch, 3 you hear, 2 you smell, 1 you taste. Step 4, write just the facts. They haven't responded in 6 hours. Not stories, just facts. Step 5, ask. Even if the worst is true, will I survive? Answer is always yes. Do this every single time. It rewires your brain. Solution 3, the direct confrontation script. If someone weaponizes silence, address it directly. Say this, I need to talk about something that's affecting our relationship. When we have conflict and you stop communicating without explanation, it really impacts my mental health. I understand you might need space, and I respect that. But I need a different system. Going forward, if you need space, can you tell me that and give me a time frame for reconnecting? I'm not asking you to resolve everything immediately. Just communication about needing space. If this pattern continues, I need you to know I'll have to reconsider whether this relationship is healthy for me. I care about you, but I also care about my well-being. Practice this. Say it. Mean it. Solution 4, the self-worth morning practice. Every morning before checking your phone. 1, look in mirror. My worth isn't determined by anyone's response today. 2, write 3 things you like about yourself, unrelated to relationships. 3, set intention. Today, I won't abandon myself for anyone's approval. 4, throughout the day, when spiraling, their silence is about them, not my worth. This sounds simple, but it transforms you over time. Solution 5, the mirror technique for silent people. Before you withdraw, stand in front of a mirror and ask out loud, am I taking space to calm down or trying to punish them? What am I hoping to accomplish? Could I communicate what I need with words? How would I feel if someone did this to me? The mirror makes you face yourself, then send one text. I'm upset and need time to think. I'll reach out in specific time. That's it. That breaks the toxic pattern. Solution 6, the emergency support system. Right now, create a crisis contact list. 3 to 5 people you can text when spiraling. Your text. Hey, I'm spiraling about someone's silence. Can you remind me I'm okay and that silence doesn't mean I'm worthless? Actually, reach out. Don't isolate. That's what manipulators want. Solution 7, the relationship audit answer. Honestly, how often does silence happen? Has it improved or worsened? Do they acknowledge and apologize after? What percentage of your energy goes to this? Do you feel more anxious or peaceful since knowing them? Then ask, is this the relationship I want? Solution 8, the ultimatum, when nothing works. If you've tried everything, I've communicated how your silence affects me. I've asked for change. I've offered solutions, but it's continuing and damaging my mental health. I'm giving you one more chance to commit to changing this. That means you may shush specific behavior. If this happens again, I need to step back. This isn't a threat. This is me protecting myself. I hope you'll work on this. But if not, I choose me. Then follow through. If you don't, they learn your boundaries mean nothing. Solution 9, the healthy conflict framework. Learn this model. It's always. I feel emotion when specific behavior happens. What I need is specific request. Can we agree on solution? If they can. I understand that's hard, but this is important for my well-being. I'm asking you to meet me halfway. Practice until it's natural. Solution 10. The digital boundary. Don't check if they're online. Block that feature. Turn off read receipts so they can't weaponize them. Check messages at set times, morning, lunch, evening only. Delete triggering conversations. Tell yourself, if it's urgent, they'll find another way. Technology should connect us, not torture us. These aren't just ideas. These are actual tools that work when you use them consistently. But let me tell you something that goes deeper than any technique or strategy. I had a patient recently who thought she might have cancer. She was waiting for test results, and during those 2 weeks, everything shifted for her. She told me all those silent treatments, all the hours analyzing text response times, all the mental energy trying to decode someone's withdrawal, it felt so absurdly trivial. When I thought I might die, I didn't think about whether someone liked my Instagram post. I thought about real moments, times I felt truly seen and loved, times I was brave enough to be vulnerable, even when it scared me. You don't need a health scare to get this. You can get it right now. When you're at the end of your life looking back, what will matter? Will it be the times you successfully manipulated someone into chasing you through strategic silence? Or the times you were brave enough to speak your truth even when your voice shook? Will it be the relationships where you won every power struggle? Or the ones where you felt safe enough to be wrong, to apologize, to grow? Here's what I want you to understand. Every day you spend in a relationship where silence is a weapon is a day of your precious life spent in anxiety, in game playing, in disconnection, a day you will never get back. And if you're the one using silence, every time you choose withdrawal over communication, you're building walls around yourself. You're creating a fortress where you feel powerful but desperately alone. You're teaching people that loving you means living in fear. Is that the legacy you want? The most meaningful relationships aren't the ones where someone has power over someone else. They're the ones where both people feel safe enough to be imperfect, to mess up, to communicate badly sometimes, and still know the other person isn't going anywhere. Think about the people in your life you feel safest with. Are they the ones who go silent? Or are they the ones who stay, even when it's hard? You deserve relationships where you can speak up without fear of being shut out, where your needs matter, where conflict brings you closer instead of driving you into isolation. And if you're the silent one, you deserve relationships where you feel secure enough that you don't need to control through withdrawal, where your power comes from presence, not absence. When you're alone with yourself, when all the games fall away, ask yourself, do I like who I am in this dynamic? Do I like how I treat people when I'm hurt? Do I like how I respond when people hurt me? Do I want to keep being this person, or do I want to change? Because here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. You can't control whether someone else changes their behavior. But you can control whether you accept it. You can control whether you stay or leave. You can control whether you perpetuate the cycle or break it. And that choice, that's your power. Not the power to manipulate through silence. Not the power to make someone desperate for your attention. The power to choose yourself. To choose health. To choose relationships that feel like peace instead of war. That's the real power. And it's available to you right now. You just have to be brave enough to claim it. If this video hit home, if something I said made you think differently about silence and relationships, I need you to do something important right now. First, subscribe to this channel. We're diving into real psychology topics that actually affect your life. the uncomfortable stuff other channels avoid. Hit that bell so you know when new videos drop. Because next week, we're talking about why some people are addicted to chaos in relationships, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Second, give this video a like, but do it consciously. Don't auto-like. Do it if this actually helped you understand something about yourself or your relationships, if you learned something valuable, if you think someone else desperately needs to hear this. Because every like helps this reach someone who's been suffering in silence, wondering if they're crazy for feeling the way they feel. Third, leave a comment right now. Tell me, have you been on the receiving end of weaponized silence? Have you realized you've been using it without understanding the impact? What's one boundary you're going to set after watching this? Let's build a community where we can talk about this stuff honestly. You're not alone in this. We're all trying to figure out healthier patterns, trying to break cycles we learned, trying to choose connection over control. Fourth, and this is huge, share this video with someone who needs it. Maybe it's a friend stuck in a relationship with constant silent treatment who thinks they're going crazy. Maybe it's someone who uses silence and doesn't realize the damage they're causing. Maybe it's someone you love who's been trained to accept breadcrumbs of communication and think it's normal. Sharing this is an act of love. It's saying, I see you, I care about you, you deserve better. Remember, changing how you deal with silence and communication isn't overnight. It's a process. You'll slip up. You'll fall back into old patterns. That's normal. What matters is the direction you're moving. Be patient with yourself. You're unlearning years, maybe decades, of conditioning. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. Until next time.